What's up, y'all? How's it going? I, for some reason, want to first start off by saying it's been hard to start this video, for one. So if you are in a place in your life where you feel like it's hard to start something and it's either new or you're starting again, attempting again, this is for you. I read energy like a weather forecaster, and it's kind of for the next day, whatever you can really change in the media in turn of realization and how realization happens in the now when it is of awareness, and how we do have subconscious ties to the past, if you will, of past experiences that make us think the present moment is in relation to the past in way of the same, and we judge it the same. And there's something in way of how outside is given a lot of judgment when, and this is also in relation to me, okay, because I do tend to read pretty intense, but this is in relation to judging outside before you judge oneself in way of direction, where if you are trying to work on being optimistic, trying to work on even for instance, if you want to make more money, this is really key in way of staying open to the outside. Even if you have different judgments, this is where realizing judgments are not a way of seeing people themselves, but realizing it's a way to show others how to still connect in harmony and peace while also agreeing to disagree, if you will. Realizing that the judgments is not needed for whatever it is in way of a natural connection, if you will. And judgments actually are really interesting in way of how it can open and close connections in the natural destiny kind of way. And think of you, my friend, as a beautiful star you see in the sky, all right? Long ago, you were a star in the sky and you randomly came down and you became a human being on the earth, almost like a seed being planted, and it's like a miracle. However you have been conditioned has really led you to feel as though the miracle within you is being seen by others as less than, and it led to a lot of insecure beliefs around how devaluing you, I never really can say that word, devaluing you is something that is natural for others to perceive you, when in reality it was from whoever conditioned you in the way of seeing you in that way. And know that this is interesting, okay? The connection and way of whoever gave you that perception was jealous of you in the original way of who you are naturally in your family, in whatever place you grew up from child into teen. And then when you were a teen, you were really frustrated about the treatment, but your emotions are maturing, you gain into puberty. Oh my gosh, physically, it's like wrecking ball. You're Miley Cyrus and you're on the wrecking ball. And then emotionally, you're super confused about the whole going through experiences of rebellion, where the anger, the passion, frustration, those that kind of get you into trouble, lead you into trouble. It's seen by others as they judge you forever. And there's something where you can take this opportunity to liberate yourself in way of judging yourself, clearing it of whatever outside opinions others have of you, and get straight to the point of how the world desires you and shows you too. And honoring in way of how the outside is showing you is really important. And there's something about, and if you're wondering what I'm doing with my hands, I am just I don't know why, but I'm just creating this. I used it in the last video, the string, and now I'm just randomly creating some design. There's something about it where for me as a kid, I always found a way to make whatever kind of simple thing that would be trash, if you will, into something very beautiful. And I don't know how, but I've always been able to like just like create kind of stuff like this. I don't know what it is, but it's like something where it turns into something very intricate, but it's from you just in the moment patiently working through the intricacy of it, the detail of it. So this is like with your beliefs and way of self-esteem and way of insecurity. There is a really cool way for you, if you want, where forgiveness of self is also super nice in way of this, where you can allow yourself to forgive an insecurity beliefs, realizing it's for you to be conditioned in that way, to realize the strength within yourself of how you changing your beliefs, of securing more confident beliefs for you will allow you to have those opportunities of finances to come through. It will allow you to like be able to just kind of take control of whatever trash you're given in terms of opinion of others and reshape it in way of like a really beautiful like butterfly sort of thing. Look at that, look at. Oh, it's kind of like a dragonfly or something like that. You know what I mean? Look at that beautiful dragonfly. Anyway, we're gonna get to the cards now. That was a little self-talk for you. Welcome. We got some people all over the world experiencing life together differently though, and I love it. I love it. Y'all are seriously like more color to a picture, to a painting, and it's not that it's like so different in way of like red, green, all that. It's like different hues, if you will, of the same color, where it enhances one specific, like I'm getting green, and I'm getting like naturally you're a very nurturing kind of person where you're a caregiver. You want to grow others outside of you in way of self-esteem, helping them feel appreciated. And I'm kind of getting pulled in way of romance with this, where you feel the need to connect with a natural nurturer of a caregiver. And it's something about how it's like in relation, okay, hear me out when I say this, where it's like leading from a place of healing, where it's helping you feel a lot more like connecting your spiritual essence in your 3D human being body, if you will. And it's something about how it's kind of like going through being alive, but also going through death itself, where ego death is something so incredible. Everyone goes through. I don't know if others see it as that. How I see it, okay, let me explain how I see it. It's through this perception where the privilege of what you thought you had was taken from you as a way of responding in way of how you caretaked in way of the privilege. And this is a humbling matter for every human being. And we all change and we all have choices. We all have choices in way of humbling matter. The thing though I'm getting is that it really put you through in your heart through grief, where it was like the earth went through an ice age and your heart is the earth itself. Imagine the earth as a seed and how there's all this like living beings and all this from the earth. It's like the seeds from the earth and we're like the seeds from the earth. And so it's something in way of your heart is the earth itself. The ideas come from your heart, but with your heart going through the ice age, you're like, is it like Dr. Frost or Mr. Frost on Batman? Where isn't it? Oh my God, my heart already hurts just thinking of his story, but his wife dies or something, or like is iced or something. I forget what, but basically it's like a long lost love where he never had a chance to say goodbye and had to just deal with the after effects of it. There's something about where you yourself are allowing yourself to warm up to different ways in turn of being comfortable with the humbling moments that have led into the Ice Age, that have led into the warmth of your heart kind of being taken away, almost like outside of you, whatever was taken away from you was the seed itself of the warmth of your heart and what you attached to and identified to outside of you. So now the really kind of like trick for you, like the lesson is, how can you identify within you in turn of your heart? And it's like thinking back, right, in the past for your experiences, what makes your heart feel that like warmth, alive in way of, that helps you feel lighthearted. You were joking around with friends, you were playing around with your pets, your loved ones, whoever it is that helped you feel carefree, that felt very much so like destined for connection, if you will. And in the past it happened. And this in the present will help you in the times when you feel like that, where your like heart is like feeling that ice cold, stone cold, like Demi Lovato kind of song. And I always think about this too, where it's interesting that Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez were like best buds at one point. Like they even had a song together, one and the same. And then now they're really not, I don't know if they're close or whatever in terms of like people or whatever, what their story is. But it's interesting in way also in turn, because I'm getting it's related to you in way of a connection where someone gets very sensationalized by the public and then you get like ridiculed and treated like you're a villain. But it's something about how people in the public are just there to perceive whatever is the physical, like want that quick kind of like, I don't know, quick intake. And there's something about how the other person, like you both are connected in the way of heart space. And it was from other people pushing you off the pedestal and then putting this person on the pedestal, where I'm getting the other person feels guilty in way of seeing how you were kind of like treated because they themselves connected with you in a different way. And it's something where like they themselves are kind of confused also. And it's something where they're scared to speak up, because it is really scary to speak up when it comes to the like, I don't know how it is, but like groups have this kind of main understanding. But the whole thing, okay, about that is we all understand differently. And if it is that we decide without kind of like going through veto, yes or no, and it's something where everyone needs to be comfortable speaking up. If there is like even one person in the group not comfortable speaking up due to fear, that's a fear-mongered led kind of group. And that also is reinstating with you in way of how it is for you to see life itself outside of you, because the group itself is intentionally giving you fear-mongering in way of leading you to decide in the matter at hand. So it's something about realizing that with it, there's nothing to fear with the connection, and that it will lead into however it needs to in the future, as long as you stay in harmony within yourself in the moment at now, whenever now is. And it allows in way of the natural, if you will, forces of element within you, because you're choosing to restructure your own natural kind of equilibrium, your own natural heart. And in turn of honoring your heart, it honors your connection to earth, because the heart is the earth. And so this is really cool because this restructures the other seeds in earth. And it's like, I guess, gonna get hurricane windy where I'm from. So I like was hearing the wind. You know, wind, honestly, I mean, I'm a Gemini, like sun and rising. And let me tell you, I stick my head out of like so many vehicles like a dog. I say like I'm a Pomeranian. Like, it's amazing. If I could Or a piranha. If you get my pride a little salty, watch out. I'm a piranha. Like a group of piranhas. You know what I mean? All right, we have the Knight of Swords and the King of Cups. This is something about boundaries when it comes to insecurities, in way of outside opinion being more prominent and more important than your own opinion of self. So with insecurities, that's related to something outside of you, taking away your life force energy in way of outside opinion in turn of perception. You can see this, okay, in turn of how it is that you see yourself right now. Like I'm looking at myself on the screen and already I'm getting insecurity thoughts in me, right? And it's because you yourself are looking at me and you see me in the way of like perfect, and that you see yourself in the way of imperfect. Now, here it is. You are already perfect. You are already enough. So what you see in me in way of perfect is already within you. And that there's something in way of us linking in way of us being perfect, okay? So that whole insecurity is you needing to tap in to secure yourself. Like it's like that airplane method where you put the mask on yourself. Oh my gosh, I'm getting the song on. The song, mask on, mask off. It's like that kind of thing where it's, yes, I know it seems in the moment you really want to save others, where it's like, you know, you can, but you need to save yourself in way of for others to be saved. Very interesting. It's like you're someone to save others. Like, I love it. You yourself are a lifesaver. Yes, the candy. What kind of lifesaver? Isn't there different flavors of lifesaver? So what flavor are you? Give it that. I'm like the mystery flavor, to be quite honest. But usually it's blue raspberry because that's my lit flav. But like, whatever. Right? So definitely boundaries around. There's something about confidently acting in a way of honoring. Yeah, that connection that I was mentioning earlier. And also something about accountability and growing up. I just saw pop on the screen. And it makes sense because with the King of Cups, that's someone who is calm within the chaos of their own emotions. Where it looks like it's pretty windy with the King of Cups kind of weather, if you will. Very similar to what's going on with me, right? You know what I mean? Right now with you too, because what's going on with me right now is what's going on with you right now. You know what I mean? Let's connect. Yeah, we connect. We both perfect. There's nothing that we do that is like going to be bitter. No, nothing. Everything that we do is going to be better. And we be forgiven and with the feeling bitter, right? We got the world on the bottom. That's what it's kind of like shoes that I imagine that like you just stepped into, and it like is almost like they give you the confidence booster. Ooh, it's like shoes that you can like literally travel all the way to like wherever, to another country. And it's like something where it's from your shoes. And it's something where it is you seeing yourself in a different way in life itself, in the now, in every time of the now, continuing on. So this is a magician. This is you being able to take fear and being able to, if you will, allow fear to have fun in a way of relaxing with love and safety. Safety is something that is a privilege, okay? Like, I come from like a really intense, like unsafe position when I was like growing up in terms of like the conditioning, and coming out of it in more of a safe position, I relax and I'm like, oh my gosh. It realizes in way of conditioning adds to the Five of Swords, where you feel like you have to give more of yourself in order to feel that emotional affection, compared to in the natural sense and way of connection, where if it is basically, connections need to be truthful. Not basically, they have to. Connections need to be truthful in way of both, or whoever's all connected, in way of first within self and then outside, in way of admitting in terms of being humble and like, yeah, I have behaved very irrationally, apologizing, admitting to it, and then working on bettering yourself from it. Where this is the change in way of allowing you to see how incredibly sensational you have always been, and that you are born in way of. Something about that, like the truth of matter, is just very much so, like the way you handle in the natural sense, how you show your own truth and matter is very, very impressive. Like so impressive that someone wants to press into you. Impress, you know what I mean? They want to come up to you. Like, it's this connection, I'm telling you, y'all. They want to come into you, come up to you, and press into you. Just kidding. But like, I'm telling you, because you know what? This whole thing is your life. Honor it. It's like you a sacred place. Wherever you at, every step you take, honoring with sacredness in the end, even if you're like feeling like because there's something about envy and jealousy, desire, having to wait in terms of fulfillment of the 3D of the desire, honoring the past, right? Being like, ooh, the gratitude of that, forgiving the frustration in the now, and then resorting with the honoring of the past with like, ooh, yes, will allow the connection and way of it to be released, forgiven, and transmuted with meta prosperity and abundance, and way of it for the future to like, okay, we got the devil. Okay, that was in the deck, so it didn't pop out. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles and the, oh wow, hold on, sorry, I'm distracted. I swear I'm getting like a pimple right here. That's funny. You ever just get those weird body changes and you're like, what the heck, a new bump? Oh well. Anyway, that's kind of it. Like, anything that pops up in the now where it's a surprise for you, hold off on judgment, because that's something where we judge very quickly, and that ties to our own and way of fear in the future, where the surprise is more fear-based receptive compared to like enjoyment receptive, where it's like lighthearted and you're just carefree and you're like la 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 la. Instead you're like, ugh, you know what I mean? You're like, ugh, right? Now you're like resorting, and now you're like la 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 la. Not really like the Queen of Pentacles, but you know, that admiration and everything, where before it was like the Nine of Pentacles, gratitude, appreciation, turns into admiration. Realizing that you yourself are the Queen of Pentacles energy right now in admiration, and that the more that you choose to work in forgiving and how you restricted yourself in way of admiration, and appreciating yourself in way of continuing on through, trying again with it, allowing that to really seep in way of it, because you're trying again, and that's all that matters. All right, when it comes to the now, try again. When it comes to the now, honoring your feelings in way of still, you know, different connections you still feel like are important. It's something about listening to yourself, I guess, first, if you want to reach out in the physical. If not, you can always reach out in way of the connection itself, and just like make the intention, like I like to make the intention of clearing out connections in the now of whatever was in the past that really held it back and was holding back the obstacles in way of the connection for you and whoever else, in turn of it being authentic, in turn of it being just cohesive for the outside and the inside of you and life itself to coexist, to be in harmony. We have to get ourselves in harmony. And it's so cool because it's like kind of like playing life as a kid. Like whatever you did as a kid where you're like, as an adult, I really want to do this or whatever. Take that, if you will, and just modernize it in a way of adding it into your life again. And then watch what happens. Yeah. We have vampire, palm tree, paralysis, and park. So there's something about others around you do have a tendency to take your light and to hilariously use in the way of their own beliefs and judgment. And it's something of, even if you're not like super aware of it, when you grow up in a religious, in a spiritual based community, okay? Now this is more of my own judgment, okay? So just take it as you will. That's kind of what it is, I guess, more than anything with judgment itself, is it's only useful for one's own self. And so there's something about, I guess I won't go into whatever I was going to say. It's not needed. But there's something about other people have a tendency to forget in the way of privilege, of power, and where it is that it can be overstated, I guess, in a way where we don't mean to also, but it's a way for us to learn of our own power. Okay, here's the thing. The choice of will is good or ill. And it's going to be how it is you feel afterwards. Okay, so with the devil, ill will. And it's all good because you have to go through the understanding why it is you want to get that good in the will. You got to sacrifice also in the now a little bit of your will. And that's something about how the intention of what you do in the now, in terms of your will, whether it's ill or good, getting yourself to a point of realizing where you're at in the now is super, super crucial for whatever kind of condition you want in the future in terms of how outside will be projecting onto you. It's something about how it's a youthful desire. Like I'm imagining someone in puberty, basically, where they start to feel the very spark of mature desire. And you get like that crush, like basically like if you ever were a high school student, and you had a crush on a teacher, and it's of course like a social taboo, but it's something about, not like it was like that kind of thing, but this connection is kind of like that, where it wasn't meant to start out in way of, but in the natural sense, it has led to it, where realizing what part you played in the ill will of the connection is important, and realizing right now you can forgive yourself of whatever beliefs you have around you in the connection in way of the ill will, forgiving it, and then reinstating in goodwill with the appreciation of the past, right? So this is way for you with love-based romantic relationships, connections, where you want to be with someone of your dream life. They are in the future. Here's the thing. The past needs to be cleaned up. And right now, it's imagine you have a piece of paper, and every time you go through the now, you write some kind of scribble on the piece of paper. In the past, it's almost very cool where like you can literally separate the past and the present through your mind of perception. And imagine it's like, I don't know how, but it's like that instrument where it's like it's like a bookcase. I forget what it's called, but you like go, it's like goes back and forth, an accordion. And it's something about how like literally the past, present, and future, it's so simple in way of the concept. It's an accordion. It's like a line, it's an accordion, and we are in control in the now. And we've always known how to play the accordion, but it's something about the challenge of distraction, realizing that whatever is outside of you, trying to manipulate you in the perception that you yourself are not natural, is contrary to natural belief and way of you. And it's them overstating in way of their own beliefs that is for themselves only. All right. So there's something about, interestingly enough, and in relation to the person in the connection, they have some kind of relation to hat. I don't know if it's in relation also, because it landed over the Page of Wands, but it's in relation to the Page of Wands as well, with the whole immature spark of desire and needing to go through life experiences that are not fun to go through, but you are strong from. Okay, like let me tell you, you could literally lift people in so many different ways without moving a muscle, with like your personality and way of how connected to authenticity you are. And this is something about honoring your intuition as well. I'm getting mountain, where like it's been a little bit of a struggle to like climb the mountain. You're like, man, because also when you climb mountains, you gotta remember with elevation, like in the literal sense, yo, you might pass out, you might throw up. Your body naturally adapts to elevation, but in ways where it's sickening. So this is something in relation in the past, if you've noticed like literal physical health ailments, check into ascension symptoms. I have gone through that, where I've gone through randomly being sick, like, and it's through also your body restructuring in the way so intense of DNA structure, y'all. Like you are DNA structuring. It's like the home life improvement, but like it's like the within your body life improvement, where it's you intentionally making change in your beliefs, what you can change, literally changes in the way of your DNA structure. And it's through like patience and having to commit to something where it's like marrying yourself to this. You know what I mean? Like you and this thing. And it's not anything more outside until you literally see the whites in their eyes. You know what I mean? Where whoever it is, you literally see them coming up to you and they're like, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Okay? There's something about that where it's keeping in mind that no matter who comes up to you, though, there's something about honoring yourself in way of naturally, how does it feel for you, period. And excluding outside of you of whoever else comes up to you, whatever they say, whatever they bring to you, you are the one to judge if it's a gift or if it's a piece of trash. Sorry if that was too rude. But like, seriously, energy can be a gift and it can be a piece of trash. We just need to know. And it's also something in relation to literally like growing up. How is it that you were fed? Okay, hear me out. Like food wise and everything. It's really interesting in a way how it either blocks you from seeing yourself or it unblocks you from seeing yourself in the way of worthiness and honoring. And it's something about honoring the way that your body naturally needs nourishment is something to keep in mind. All right, through this. Ooh, we have violin in reverse. What went through my mind when I saw violin was like when someone has like self-pity, it's like playing the tiny violin. But there's something about allowing yourself to understand that it's like you have the capability of helping people through self-pity, where it is not fun to self-pity, okay? It's ridiculed on in way of, and it's something where we all have to deal with it within ourselves of how we pity our own self. And that's where insecurities come in, where it's okay. Like, it's something where, yeah, you went through something painful and it made you feel pitiful. And let me just tell you, nah. It was something else that literally dug a hole into your heart. And that's where that pit is. We're like, we're going to fill you with some self-esteem. You know what I mean? Like, nah. Because that's absolutely ridiculous in way of literally life outside of you trying to compete in way of placement that's for you. Where like they have their own placement and they are not going to, when it comes to literally this whole thing of life, restructure it based off of intention that you can pick up and you can forgive in way of it. You know what I mean? But also realize that you connect for it in a way where you tie your identity in the now to it. And this identity tie is literally with you forever until you untie it. And then there's placement for peace, prosperity, and harmony until you get to like a decision matter of comfortability, right? And this is where you get confident in assertion of like how you want to handle matter that is right now in front of you, what you feel like is chaotic, maybe a little bit before, like the day before. Today, it's like a little bit more steady inside of yourself, confident inside of yourself. It's that way to allow yourself to step into the intuitive of what to do next in the future of whatever it is, where every time you get to the now, this is your opportunity to take a step differently in the future, where before it was miserable when you stepped. Now you step with some like glee, you know what I mean? Step with some joy. There's a step in your pep in your step. Pep in your step. Ooh, pep in your step. Ooh. Do I feel satisfied with the love I receive from myself and others? More H2O. It was funny also that I finished the water bottle. Oh man, I really am thirsty though. Hold on. Yo, I set up like my desk really nicely where I have like my water bottle stash. That's what I mean is like when it is that you know you need something of nourishment, y'all, for yourself, when you get to this like low insecure kind of perception of self, because the insecurity is what chains you. And it's just something about illusionment based off of other people's egoic desire overriding the natural way of cohesiveness when it comes to connection. Where if you don't stay true to yourself in the connection and you act like you are still true to you in the connection, it doesn't hurt. Like when someone else, I guess, disconnects from the connection, you'll receive all the pain itself. Until then, when it's still connected, if you choose to, you're going to still be connected and the other person will still be connected. It's just, we're just like sources for each other to like really receive gifts of life force energy, like what creates the breath in us, what creates the ideas in us, what creates the warmth in us, what creates the glow in us. And there's something about the responsibility and realizing the simplicity of truth and lies within our own self. And the whole thing of like, the longer that you go on connecting with someone, where also you can change way of connection too, I guess, where it doesn't have to be romantic. You can get to some kind of understanding within yourself first of what you want the future to be, and allow yourself to feel the confidence of being open and honest with the other person, and know that when it comes to how the other person is, it's not yours to pick up or to pick on in turn of, except forgive and allow yourself to acknowledge and stay true in way of, and staying like vigilant of you saying the truth about you and being honest about you and honoring you, Like, you know what I mean? When people honor spaces, like religious areas of honoring, you can feel the connection so deep that you're like in the dinosaur age. Like, it's that kind of honor where it's like life has literally existed, went through hardships, sacrificed. You literally existed, went through hardships, sacrificed. And it's about time for you to get that prosperity, abundance, and significance in way of the hard work and sacrifice of staying true to yourself when you have to separate from connection in way of it not being true to you in way of the connection itself. Let's see if I can. I was gonna like, how is it? Like a soju bottle, S-O-J-I, soji bottle. Is that? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right or correct at all, but I imagine it's like when they, I don't know how they do it. I don't know, or how people do it, but like you turn it upside down. Okay, damn. I'm fumbling. All right, so it's like this. You turn it upside down. It's like the cap, and then you like turn it right side up, and while you turn it right side up, you like twist the cap, and it creates this really cool tornado effect. I don't know what it is. I see it with Korean dramas. So it is like something in way of in Korea, like South Korea, Seoul specifically. I see so many people talk about it, but it's a way to honor, in way of honoring like elders in the group, and the younger person does the turning, I'm guessing, like does the work of also pouring for the other people. And I love that concept in way of honoring other people in the group. And there's something about how you yourself honor those in the group, of reminding them of something in way of connection to more of an ancient tradition, where when you honor this kind of connection yourself, you're also helping them feel like honor and everything, where they're like, oh yeah. And it's something where it's like you reminding life outside of you of what honor is and how amazing it is to honor and to be in the way of how you see honoring. All right, so there's something in way of that with connection and the connection itself of whatever we're talking about. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like trying to be vague, but still allow you to be like mad lib, inserting whatever details you want. Let me tell you, I'm still thinking about, and I'm going to try to search online too. I'm sure someone's created like a manifestation mad lib kind of way, because that, if not, I'm going to try to put it out there. If not, y'all, please put that out there, because I need that. Like, I need that in my life. You know what I mean? And that's something about how you yourself are like an idea person and you put it out there, but it's something where it's like in person seeming a little bit more prideful, but like not in person but online, it's not as much. So maybe it is that, I don't know if you feel like a creative, if you identify as one, but having content in way of like this kind of thing, I basically, like, personally, I started this just because I needed like an outlet for myself with my own journey of like wellness and everything. And that's something I'm getting in relation to you, where it's like, if you're able to keep up in mind of this, I don't know how it's in relation to the connection, but there's something about you honoring a way to let your frustration, immature kind of emotions find a creative outlet when it comes to the frustration and chaos of outside of you. When it comes to that, allowing yourself to kind of flow within that, be open, trusting whatever it is that you create is perfect as it is in the moment, is going to allow you to see the magic unfold from your fingertips, from whatever it is that you create in the very literal moment, especially if you can get that intention right, y'all. All right? Especially if you can get yourself in the perspective of yourself in the moment and where you want to be going in the future. Literally, like later today. And whatever vibe you bring into later today, whatever vibration, in terms of emotion, feeling, is going to be really a projection of whatever it is that you're like desiring, attracting. And they do say opposites match, so you know what I mean? Are you projecting opposite of what you're desiring? That clicked for me. I was like, oh shoot. Ah. As I am to you, I always remain true to me. This could be a really good affirmation for you to write down. I've been doing this journal. I got it as like a gift, and let me just read it to you because it's backwards on the screen. That's so funny. 369 Journal, Neuroscience-Based Journaling, Key to Unlocking Limitless Potential with Numerology by Keela Shine, I believe. But I might have butchered it. I do apologize. This, though, has absolutely helped me expand in way of affirmations and understanding the miracles that happen, not just in the 369 method, but affirmations in general, where it does help you get to realization that is in the most modern of times, which is now. And that's something where you can realize in terms of radically changing, and radical change happens where? Within you. So you can change in terms of logic and reason, sure. You can change in terms of heart and reason, sure. You can change in terms of your genital desires and reason, sure. But it's up to you in way of how you want to change. And there's something in turn where change is important in different ways in the matters that I talked about, but it's something in way where you yourself in the moment, what feels like in turn, and then matching it outside of you in way of rationalizing how much time and energy you want to spend on putting forth with the desire at hand in way of fulfillment. Because yeah, it'll be like logic, rational desire fulfilled, heart-based, love-based desire fulfilled, and then you're like passionate, hormonal desire fulfilled, like lust and everything. We have third house, family communications. Something about connecting with your ancestors can be really helpful for you in way of clearing out some deeply ingrained connections that other individuals have placed on you. I don't know why. It's giving me... Okay, so the cards read vampire, palm tree, paralysis, and park. It reminds me of like someone waiting at a park and wanting to basically make you their meal. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like some real, not some sus vibes from someone else, some ill will. So this is something where asking your ancestors in way and praying with your ancestors in way to help clear out the communication. So in times like that, when you feel like you're being, if you will, preyed upon, you know what I mean? So when people are like, I'm going to pray for you, they're going to prey upon you. You know what I mean? Where like, it's this whole thing in terms of play of words. And there's intention in words in every word. Every sound, syllable, whatever you want to say, even if it's not cohesive, it still sends out vibrations. And when you think back in way of that, okay, what I just talked about, because there's P-R-A-Y and there's P-R-E-Y. Allow yourself to just forgive in way of connection in terms of the people who P-R-E-Y on you. And reconnect in way of P-R-A-Y with your ancestors. Play of words. You take control. I want you to. Please, please let the world see what happens too as you see it unfold before you. Because when you let go, when you forgive of matter, especially forgiving yourself of feeling like you are less than, is going to reinstate in way of people who prayed on you, in terms of what the power of prayer truly can do for someone who has truly connected to that honest, truthful connection they have as a being individually, that we all have, that we're all destined in way of honoring, but is choosing to. This feeling I honor entirely with love, just for existing. Open expansion. It's like cows getting out of like the feedlots into like a pasture for the first time, and they be dancing. They be dancing. I love it. The dancing cows. They're so like happy to just stretch their legs, because it's that whole thing of like, it's not natural for it to happen, where it's created from previously human, like one human kind of persuading other people to go along for the ride. You know, just watch where the ride goes. You know what I mean? Because you're not on it. You're just watching it. It's like a roller coaster, and you're not on the roller coaster, but you're down there on the ground, safe, and watching people just throw up and everything. You're like, ah. Because it's the ascension sort of thing, where imagine that you yourself hold a lot of weight and matter in this whole connection environment, whatever you're in. And it's this environment where they preyed on you, Prey. You disconnecting and reinstating in way of your own spiritual placement, significance in the connection itself, is also stepping away as if someone is like weighing. It's almost something about how you stepping away from the connection allows everyone else that was tying you down. For you, it's something where it's like, basically, you're up here already, you're in a high vibration, and the more you disconnect, the more that you're able to unchain whatever insecurities this like environment influenced you in. And it's like how to live life itself. And so you living your own life itself is allowing the rest of that environment to have that ascension needed when you unchain, when you separate from it. And that is when you stop caring about it over caring about yourself. Self-esteem will help you in way of realizing where it is that you're caring for yourself and where it is that you're giving others in way of sacrificing care for yourself to help others. I don't know if I pulled it, but the Five of Swords come to mind. Yeah. Where it's like the people pleasing is where you're caring for others, but it's because of the influence of beliefs that's not your own, overriding your own instinctual beliefs about the whole situation, environment, what you're in. 12th house, the unseen, secret enemies, hidden difficulties, karma, dream, seclusion, spirituality, unconscious mind. Totally giving me Carl Gustav Jung. Absolute wise friend of mine. All right. Absolute wise friend of mine that I have gained so much knowledge from. Even though like in the 3D I've never met him, I feel like I have in the spiritual. Okay. Like I feel like we've connected because I've gained so much insight in way of handling my own shadow, my own ego. And it's something about how I also feel a lot more understanding of how to honor in a way where it feels satisfying of whatever has led up to my shadow in the rebellion of it for the stage, which you went through too, or you have gone through. And it's the insecurities that develop through that you need to mature and realize and secure in, and being safe in self. We're like, it's so good, baby. With romance, you're like, I'm not enough. Nah, dude. You enough. You know why? Because you already have been. And you always will be. And it's the whole thing of beliefs make you feel not enough. That's contrary to belief, baby. You know what I mean? That's someone else's belief trying to instigate in way of you, trying to prey upon you and taking your own freaking like literal presence for granted, absolutely revoked, removed, forgiven. You're reinstated, my friend. With your own power, baby. We got moon and mountain, or moon over mountain, and pearls also. So the challenges that you went through, these environments, connections, whatever, in terms of staying true to yourself, is something about your shadow, because the shadow is related to the moon. Oh, and also I wanted to share with you the shadow work journal. I'm going to get it. I don't know if anyone else is, but like, I don't want to share you my Pandora's box, please. Okay? No, I won't open my Pandora box for you. There's something though that I really want to urge you to try it out, even if you can't buy the journal. It's the method where you write down in the morning 3 affirmations. It's the same affirmation 3 times. In the middle of the afternoon, it's 6 times. In the nighttime, it's 9 times. And have fun with however many days you want to try this out, because I'm telling you guys, it's like playing a video game. And like, you know how at first when you start playing a video game, you suck? Like, you get better, you know the special moves, you like maybe research of like special moves, tips and tricks of other people, you know what I mean? That's what I mean. It's like staying true in terms of, as a kid, how did you adapt in way of like, you did hobbies, you just passed the time by when you were bored? How did you adapt in way of challenges back then? And it's like that whole thing as a kid, we're very effortless in deciding on intuition, okay? So like, if you got kids around you, ask them, literally ask them, whatever. Okay, I kid you not. I'm not kidding you. Okay, ask whoever, if you have any kids around you. I don't. I'm my own kid. But if you are a caretaker, in the age appropriate way, okay? Ask them what they would do in a connection that's like similar in way of age appropriate, right? Where it's like, whatever it is in terms of the other person in this connection, what would kids be doing? And these people, I kid you not, the youth are able to revive y'all in terms of however old you are, in terms of how you feel, right? It can always be revived in way of imagination, in way of joy, in way of optimism. It can always be diminished in way of pessimism and bending of reality of truth, where it's very simple. It's very simple, but it is very, very powerful in way of how you yourself have to go through in way of truth. We have arrow, book, and death. Okay, so when I mentioned the 3-6 journal, this is the book, all right? I mean, it's not literally the book, but that's where the book's coming from. The arrow is a way for you with your heart to find a new direction in way of ego death. So you can finally find some kind of self-affirming where before the insecurity came. Again, it's not yours. It's someone else trying to instate what they're like safe about within them and they're comfortable about within them. They see within you what is uncomfortable and they're like, that's not right. And then you're like, release, forgive, move on, because that's it. Whatever other people say about you is a distraction from your own self. Whereas like when you learn, okay, because this is funny, in terms of life and how to live life by one's own self, no matter what age you're at, all right, it's the way that you handle yourself in the moment that counts. And anyone can really mature in any moment that they choose to. When you realize outside of you is not what you perceive, but it is what is within you that you be seeing. You know what I mean? I got you. I'm here to really eradicate doubt in way of, yes, I'm gonna be like a, youthful looking kid, you know what I mean? But I swear, for some reason, I've always had like a wise soul with me and always will have with me. You know what I mean? That perception of self is so incredible when it comes to you. And the way that you could open yourself up to this, bro. But you gotta allow yourself to really let go of whatever is, I don't know how else to say it, but like, irrational beliefs that help you feel that irrational fear in the future, forgive it. Reinstate with self-affirming, self-esteem beliefs. I am already capable because I have already been capable. I am capable all the time. I embody the perfect capability that I need to in any moment to succeed. Compassionate. That's where the nourishment is compassionate. That's where the whole thing of affection is for yourself. Do you want to infect yourself or do you want to affect yourself? What are 3 simple acts of self-love? I always like to say eat, breathe, sleep. I like really complex my life in ways where I'm like, man, simplifying it would be nice. Marie Kondoing my life would be great. And that's kind of it. The healthy empathy and toxic empathy is directing me towards the 5 of Swords. People pleasing, caring too much about others and your mind, and trying to rationalize what you feel is irrational but still has outside of you needing to have confirmation. Allow it to be forgiven and wait, even if you just realize that too, where you're like, oh, wait a minute. And just give yourself the benefit of doubt, basically, where it's realizing that if you do doubt yourself, it's just because you're confused, y'all, of where to go next. And that's all good. You just gotta, like, literally just sit down, maybe lay down on the ground if you can, on your bed or whatever, and just close your eyes and focus on your breath. That's it. And then the rest will allow to happen. De-stress is needed to allow you to refocus, allow you to see what you are confused of. That creates this, like, kind of like a sexual frustration of desire where it's like the connection is being blocked by the sexual frustration, but it's no big deal because you can lift it. You can forgive that, block within you. And that's all needed. And then reinstate, transmute it with like peace, prosperity, and abundance. Transmutation is just the intentional change of energy where you yourself in the moment choose based off of a different intention what result you want to be different, where it once was a failure, now a success, due to you deciding to radically change. Instead of I am insecure, you reinstate secure beliefs within yourself by saying, I am secure in myself. And you just do it until you feel it within you, the confidence, and know that it is like riding a bike and getting back out there in way of having to be confident and way of asserting yourself is also terrifying to go through, like jumping out of an airplane for the first time, but you'll survive because it's being prepared with like someone else also practiced, a professional, to jump out of the airplane with you. So in this way, if there's an opportunity to get like a reading, like a tarot and oracle reading, and whatever area of this is in relation to you, it doesn't have to be romance, it could be career based, it could be moving where you want to next, it could be whatever kind of life stage change you're at. Some about you making radical changes in the way that you see yourself. You need and weigh something in turn of your shadow to be heard. And there's like some kind of professional for you out there where they'll allow you the openness of it. And I myself, like, gosh, I'm just a little intimidated to put myself out there professionally as a reader. Like, you know what I mean? That stuff is like, oof, you know what I mean? But I'll try my best. I don't know if anyone wants to reach out to me. That scared me. I mean, I myself need to work on that. I myself am insecure personally of like reading for other people professionally because there is so much pressure for me of like, I want to be truthful in way of like someone else's truth, like the power and the privilege of this. It's a lot to handle because I want the future to be truthful. And I got to get my SHIT to be THUTHFUL. Truthful? True. Oh, TRUTHFUL. There we go. Thifo. Thifo. Sorry, that's so stupid. That's so good, bro. But I'm telling you, y'all, there is something very interesting in this way of like just relaxing into what is reality, even if it's stressful. What is outside of you is outside of your capability, and what is within you is what is within your capability. I am capable of accomplishing every dream and goal that I start on, y'all. You know, the whole oddity, y'all. It's like audit, you know what I mean? The whole like tax when businesses have to get audited, something like that, you know what I mean? It's something where previously in these environments, y'all, because before you were so stressed of being in them, and it's because so many people tied lies about you, your reputation, and it did show other people the dangers of lying about someone else in way of gaining privilege and power and standing, where I don't know if they like lost it or they will, or it's just going to be on their record in way of when we all die and, you know, we all go elsewhere and everything. But y'all, what we do on earth does matter. Every one of us. I realize that more and more. I'm so much more honoring in way of my own matter. And you can too. With the 369 journal, baby. No, just kidding. But like, you know, method. Yo, I tell you what. Manifestation methods. I might kick that up again. TV series. Yo, me. It's like the mix between reading Rainbow, like the magic. Is it the yellow magic school bus or the magic yellow school bus? I forget. And then Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood or something like that. Like TV shows for me are like, you know what I mean? So I might create something like that, a manifestation method kind of video series, TV series, I don't freaking know, whatever. But this is for you to be able to be aware that there are so many possibilities to get your self-esteem rising. The manifestation methods are for individuals who suffer from insecurity, where like it's like insecurity blight, okay? And it just wipes out what you've worked so hard in way of nourishing within yourself. And it's really, you know, hard to get out of, but when you do, when you get that whole, like when you commit enough, you'll start to feel it. Like if you've ever worked out, you work out till a certain point and you start to see it outside of you, of the change of fitness and everything, and you get trim and everything, and you see the result of honoring yourself when it comes to. Because there's something of radical change, you have to sacrifice something old for the new. Almost like the death card in tarot. I am admired for my unique magic and potent medicine. So what is the unique magic and potent medicine within you, you wonder? Well, it's your authenticity. It's literally what you bring to the moment and what you decide. And so honoring in turn is how, in turn of truth and it being lie of what you bring to the table. When it comes to the lie, you're just hiding from the truth in way of being scared of it. So it's like the truth is love, lying is fear. And it's not really anything more than what you bring to your own part of the meal for everyone else and for yourself. So how are you bringing yourself to the meal? I get it. Had a bad day, take it one time, play a sad song, then you turn it around. Wait a minute. How is like playing a sad song, then you turn around? Maybe though. Okay, here's the thing. What if you just wallow in your sorrow? But there's something about, it reminds me of that hole in your heart. You know what I mean? Like, but it wasn't created by you, right? But it's like you have to adapt with this wallowing, this sorrow. And it's okay. Because, there's strength within the connection of self and love when it comes to healing yourself from sorrow. It's all good. The whole thing is sorrow is really reinstated over and over again as much as you tell yourself thoughts of sorrowfulness. And you'll feel this, you'll know it in way of feeling it. I guess I'm not really like aware of it a lot. I guess what creates me differently in way of like this whole thing of society, like I'm a very odd member of my society, and it's because I'm a feeling-based person first in way of perception, and a lot of people are more logic and reason thinking based. So it's something where in relation to you, how it is, opposites attract. And so it's something where finding the cohesiveness of the middle when the opposites attract, and that's where your heart is, right? And that's where it is in ways of people of diverse backgrounds where, yeah, you might believe like some judgmental things about other people, but when you realize that those judgments are just for yourself and the way that you see yourself in the moment, you realize that it's ridiculous to think the things of judgments of others and just let life be itself outside as it is naturally. Like the Empress vibe in the tarot card deck. The Rider-Waite deck. I am making friends my past self would be proud of, is proud of. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's this whole projection of honoring yourself that is like a projector of a nostalgic childhood like video that makes someone realize, like in warms really like ice cold places where before the hardship, before the ice coldness, it's this feeling of elation that can elevate you. And it's something where I hope you're kind of like gazing off into wonderment about, because it's like such a beautiful feeling to experience for all people in all of life and for all of life itself. Where, yeah, like even other life itself, other than human beings, also come through this as well. And so the cohesiveness also can help in way of our outside environment. If you want to do something about it, start with yourself as a member in the environment, but you're an environment itself. You yourself. And imagine your heart is the seed of the environment that changes the flow radically from pessimism to optimism. So what? It's like opening a door with this whole thing where literally one side is closed, right? And it's in a pessimistic room. And you got this fear of going through the door because you're like, I don't know what's on the other side. You open the door, you step through, and there it is, optimistic. And that's it. It's this really interesting perception of change that we do within ourselves. No one else knows. Maybe some people more aware than others, but it's something where it relies on yourself in the minute, in the flow, how you want to go. It's like when you kind of come upon in a river, a really fast current, like water rafting or whatever. I've never done it, but it's like that whole thing of how a river naturally has really intense parts and then really slow, kind of calm parts. That's where it is with your life in terms of the ups and downs of like a year. The calm and the chaos. It's how you handle in different ways. Like in stocks, they have the bear market and then the bull market. How you handle that is differently, okay? Come hold me tight. So in the meantime, while you wait for someone to come hold you tight, you know, you hold yourself tight. In the times when like you really need a friend, where like your past self really needed, that's you in the now. Be the friend in you in the now by reinstating and releasing those insecure beliefs. Well, one, releasing the insecure beliefs, and then two, reinstating more relevant beliefs of, yes, I'm capable. Exorcism or banishment. We got 3 drops of frankincense and then 1 drop of clove or bay. And this is just a little recipe if you want to create. And this is essential oils for the recipe. And the drops, the ratio, do whatever you want. But it's the whole frankincense and clove or bay is relevant. Exorcism or banishment, if you don't know what the terms are, it's ridding, forgiving of really stern, really irritating, lingering energy that you know it feels. It's a way to really get rid of it in the natural way, where that on you is not supposed to be there, period. And it's interference in way of the natural divine order of law and reason and way of creation. That's it. I release attachment to the outcome. And when I was like, that's it, that's all you do in terms of paying attention to it, because that's what it is in way of outcome. When you pay attention to, here it is. When you pay attention to the outcome, you are literally paying what you don't need to be paying to in turn of. Sadness isn't real. It's a perception that you feel like you have something outside of you missing, but it is within you that needs to be seen. Of where you're like, where is it? You're like looking outside of you. It reminds me when I wear glasses, well, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But when I forget I have my glasses on, it's usually on my head. When they're on my face, like, it's pretty easy for me to see if I have my glasses, you know what I mean? But, you know, like when they're on your head, you're like looking around, you're like, oh yeah. And so you bring them down and everything. But there's something about how it's very interesting in way of that. Okay, my mind kind of got distracted. That's what I mean, y'all. I literally picked. Okay. Let me just calm the fuck down. Jesus Christ. Help me. Jesus, take this wheel of choice. Take my judgment. Is that what Carrie was talking about? She's like, or she sings, Jesus, take the wheel. That's what she means. Jesus, take that judgment wheel, bro. Where's the love in this? That's what you're saying to yourself. Where's the love in this stuff? You're like, oh my gosh. And so you got to get that love within yourself and realizing what you went through. There's still love for you to see. It just has to be you back then and not on whoever effed you over. Whoever was like, because there is something about how, interestingly enough, intimidation is what we're kind of talking about, y'all. We're like, all of us naturally hold yin and yang energy, feminine and masculine energy. It's this thing, though, perception of belief, that what you hold, you're in control in way of other people and what they hold. And it's this thing where when you look outside at someone, okay, hear me out. When you look outside at someone and you go through a thought, a belief, and it's an insecure belief, it's because you feel like you don't hold whatever it is you see outside of you. But it's within you all the time. Isn't that funny? You guys, we're so silly as human beings. Oh, let's just all come together when we're ready. Because that's also the thing, when you're ready. But you'll know when you're ready, and it's based off of the comfortability of you like being yourself outside of you and just kind of seeing every single day what happens. Because y'all, I kid you not, when I got this string, I like didn't know I was gonna create like this cool design. Like, look how it holds on my finger. You know what I mean? That's kind of like a connection, y'all. Where, like, I know it's hard to think in way of connections, especially when they're, like, traumatizing. What's the good in it? It's something about how it reveals previously what you weren't aware of in terms of insecure beliefs, where now you can reinstate of secure beliefs that help you in order to release the past and way of seeing yourself in that way that tie you to yourself now in that kind of gloomy way. Where like, you have every right to see yourself as a fabulous, sensational, walking, talking miracle, just as you might see me right now. It's just because I'm really comfortable speaking my mind, but it did take me a minute. Trauma, just like, that's what's the cold, hard, like, ice age is like trauma. And it's this whole thing of entrapment that happens. Like, think of a trap door, but also trap music. That's good. Yo, when I go to the gym, funk, PHONK music is I like march to the warrior funk music beat, you know what I mean? I'm a warrior. I stand true on my own, fight for truth and justice alone, but not alone because I'm with creation, because I'm part of it. I'm like one nation within myself. Is so cool. Come with me, no drool. If there is, wipe your lip. Come on now, get with it. You still living now? Stomp your feet, clap your hands with me. It's so funny. The vibe's good. But yeah, it's just this whole thing where like perception of self is also this interesting concept of disabilities, and how like it's nothing more than someone just needing to readapt in a way of honoring your own ability as an individual, where you're the same as everyone else. And if other people don't make you feel like you're the same, they're trying to do that in way of their own insecurity. That when they see you be comfortable in you, they're like, I'm not comfortable with me. And then they try to bring it on you by trying to like play it off. Playful giggles. And you're like, whatever. Gentle murmurs. Because there's this thing about how people just want to take for granted kind-hearted people like you. Shoot. And that's something I'm getting with this connection in this environment, that it really made it hard for you to speak your truth in way of truth and justice, specifically to people who have tried to misuse their own like power, if you will, in the way that they played in turn of wherever you're at in this like connection environment. So like, here's the thing, y'all, is know that everything that's said outside of you about you is nothing more than lies, where someone is trying to put their own truth onto you, and it's not about you. All right? It's literally about people in the way that they lie in turn of trying to put that on you, trying to manipulate your own truth. I'm getting in what you said. And the more that you stand true to you in these kind of environments when you go about, and the more that you let go of knowing that you did speak your truth and that other people didn't honor it, and not only that, but they like lied to your face, just release and forgive that in way of, and allow yourself to feel the freedom of honoring your truth in this whole thing. And now, I don't know if you feel it, but there's a releasal in way of weight of guilt and shame, in way of dishonoring your own truth, and now reinstating in matter of the more that you honor your own truth. Now there is this whole thing I just read, or I just had flash through my mind, in way of self-esteem, insecurities. And this is something in turn, there's a belief you have that speaking out is going to do you harm, in way of how your childhood conditioning was, with how like violent it was. Like, I'm so sorry you went through that, because that is rough. Like, of course you have, your pride is like rawhide pride. Like, you literally went through an environment that created something soft into rough, and you're still alive. And let me tell you, It's usually when the animal's dead and it's skinned that that rough, rawhide pride is like made. You know what I mean? So like if you feel a deep connection to spirit, it's probably because you went through something that roughed up your spirit connection, that like even spirit creator is like, oh no. So just let go in way of like the ridiculousness of other people just trying to literally start fires in your forest, where it's like, what are you doing here? Disrespecting, coming in, starting forest fires. Why? You know what I mean? Why do you come there in the first place other than to cause destruction? So people in these environments that you're in, they cause destruction, and it's something about the lies themselves are destruction. Gossip itself is destruction. This is giving me gossip. Malice gossip of people who are insecure in way of how you honor yourself. And maybe you have disabilities in whatever kind of way, but yo, I am so needing to be inspired by how it is that you honor yourself, whatever kind of disability you adapt in way of honoring yourself, in way of showing yourself by staying true to yourself, at the same time maturing in ways where like you don't realize it, but it's something where this like disability is really a super ability. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot of mental disorders, but I am super mentally like aware of things that like right now a lot of people aren't. So I got like super mental abilities. And it's this whole BS of like disabilities. It's the literal people don't understand what the heck they be talking about in the gossip about you, where it's like they're walking not only on thin ice, but like global warming thin ice. You know what I mean? Where they like be the polar bears, and the polar bears are like their environment is being destroyed right now because of global warming kind of thing. That's like them right now with their about it. And at the same time, your heart is warming up, because the more your heart warms up, and the more you separate in way of identity and you in this whole thing, realizing you've been good this whole time. And I'm so proud of you. I was shivering inside. So there's someone connected to it where they're also outside of it, but they're also in it in way of almost like changing judgments of you, or just changing the way that they perceive themselves in the way previously of how they judged you, and now how they see where you're like committed and honoring yourself in way of walking away, and it impresses them. At the same time, they're very PO'd in way of the gentle murmurs and playful giggles from other people still trying to cause fire to your forest. It's this thing where it's like the natural environment will allow the rain to come through to clear out any of the fires caused by gossip about you. Where it's like seriously outside obstacles, like miraculous ways to block people off. The banishment and exorcism come through now, baby. Yes, you know what I mean? Because that's something about it where it's also like life itself cannot create in way of intentions for other life itself. That's kind of overstepping boundaries. Maybe not kind of, it is. Is this whole thing of intention is just for self, opinion is just for self, right? And you can take it however you want in way of how you receive it outside of you, and how it kind of feels within you in way of insults and security. They go hand in hand. If you feel like you have been insulted by rude behavior, it's something about an insecurity in way of you behaving and seeing outside, and it's like kind of embarrassing. It feels like harassment, all that stuff. There's something about also still needing to kind of refresh yourself and mature yourself in way of that as well. Here's a little pill. It reminds me of the Matrix, the red and blue pill. It's kind of like that. Truth is whatever kind of pill, and lies is the other kind of pill. Like the red pill is truth, the blue pill is lies or whatever. And it's what you tell yourself. And then it's how you act with what you tell yourself in turn of that. the red or the blue. I was feeling insecure. Note the was, though, okay? Reinstate with, I am feeling self-confidently assured to step into the unknown. Hugging my fear at the same time, like it's a tiny little child and I'm here to protect it. And it's the new wild of like, well, I will figure this one out on the way. Like, if you don't know now, allow yourself to forgive in the not knowing and just be in the knowing of what is in the now for you. You know what I mean? Told you how to heal. So that will tell you how to heal and way of how to step forward too when you get like, oh yeah, let me just sit back and relax and see what next do I need to get to. I don't want to be mistaken. I was shivering inside, another confirmation. And oh, now I didn't want to hurt you. So something about someone like you're dealing with that's kind of like supporting you in way of all this stuff. Yeah, it's like when people own up to the truth also, they also will speak up in way of contrary to popular belief, if you will. And the more you have in way of speaking up individually with members of that, the more that the popular belief will be changing. Zombie. And so this is going to be something about this person also I'm getting is going to notice in way of change how you changed and how they changed. They be changing whoever else who be starting fires of gossip through your reputational forest. Woo. Okay. They be like the zombies. They be looking like zombies. They be looking like land dwellers that look dead, but they be alive. Okay. You know what I mean? People who literally just try to bring you down in way of wanting to expand your life, honoring you in way of change. And it's in the way that they act more than anything. Like how you can tell a zombie is a zombie, how they move, the speed of how they move. Okay. So if you're like, because I'm thinking in my family, I'm a very fast mover. I'm a radical changer. Not a lot of people in my family are, right? You know what I mean? So if you're in that kind of boat with the conditioning, the rate of healing, you at a high speed rate, bro. Like I'm telling you, you let go, watch it flow. It's like you relax into the action of letting go so easily and effortlessly. It's a natural way of you getting back on track. It's like, no biggie. Getting on that boat. It's like that boat song that every single other word is a cuss word. It's a good song, you know what I mean? You know, when you need a cuss, you look up a song and you just go hard. Whatever kind of place you are where you can like just scream it to the world. Man, that's what I do sometimes. Even in a place where I'm not supposed to scream it to the world, I will. Honey, that's what it is with honoring yourself in way of how it feels in the moment and then afterwards, even before. It's just a luxurious way that you can choose. And this will help you, especially if you still feel hesitant in speaking of the truth, if you will, speaking about your own truth in the way of now. It's something about, it's a lot easier to speak the truth than what your fear perceives it as. Where other people, before you might be like, they're going to just hate me if I say what I say. They're going to be relieved too. Okay, in connection, all of us with lies, we feel it. Like we feel in way of another person lying to us about their own truth in the matter. You feel it, and I'm feeling it right now. So forgive in terms of that effect of other people and what they put on you in way of how you feel about yourself in the connection and what they put in the connection has nothing to do with you in the connection itself for you at all. All right. So that's kind of why it is to like let yourself be free in way of seeing where you're in control with this connection, not how another person even acts in the connection. Because I'm getting you're like a caregiver for the connection, where you're like, want the other person to be like, all like basically they themselves feel more in love with you than you yourself feel more in love with you. I get it. But it's this whole concept of realizing that whole, how do you change in way of love and restructuring and honoring yourself is by first going within, into yourself, into the fears. Imagining you're like your teen self holding your younger self, and you right now in the mature self with the wisdom of you is standing right beside, and all three of you guys have different voices and way of feeling, and how it is that each feeling, each voice of the child, the youth, and the like adult you, I guess, have in way of this. And there's something about your voices within will be able to help. All right? In turn of this, how do you decide? What do you want to let go? Especially in turn of feeling like there's so much in your mind that it's not even letting you see yourself. That's where kind of the whole giving care more than, or giving care more to others than yourself is coming through. Interesting. Okay. So that is the video. I hope that you appreciate it. You don't have to. I hope so. But whatever. I appreciate it. I love these videos. Yeah, good luck in way of what you want to do with this information, you know, how you want to use your life in way. I hope that I was able to help you see it's NBD, no big deal, when it comes to life decisions and it feeling like impossible to make. Just got to reinstate that you are possible in the making of this decision, okay? And this video is brought to you possible by the impossible feelings that you feel. So thank you. And now I hope to reinstate with affirmations once again that you are possible in way of whatever kind of possibility that you need to, I don't know, idea seed you from, you know what I mean, into the world, okay? It's from you seeding into your heart. That's right. All right. I'll see you in another video. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in another one. Bye, y'all.